I'm Ami Skimming Black, and I am an architect with a strong commitment to sustainability in my projects. In this episode of Sussed, I'm going to meet with a variety of businesses around Ireland who take different approaches to using renewable energy sources in their buildings and practices. They are responding to the climate emergency by installing solar panels of various scales, favouring eco-friendly insulation, reusing rainwater, and getting technologies in place to ease the demand on high carbon energy sources. These businesses understand that we need to continuously adapt and innovate, and there are tips for us all to take on board too. Today I'm visiting a site that has enthusiastically embraced solar photovoltaics. That's the conversion of light into electricity at the atomic level. We're at Mahon Point Shopping Centre in Cork. Their general manager, Justin Young, kindly agreed to give me a tour of their roof to talk me through their vast PV system. As an architect, I'm interested in learning about what I can do in design in a way to make buildings actually more sustainable and how they operate and how we make them. And I'm here to learn about the different strategies that they use in order to operate their building. So Justin, tell me a little bit about your sustainability story here at Mahon Point.
So Mahon Point Shopping Centre is open since 2005, and since then we've invested in quite a few initiatives over the years to enhance sustainability rating of the shopping centre. So one of the reasons we're actually up here on the roof is solar panels. We've been going through a process over the last number of years to install firstly solar panels, which has been challenging for many different reasons between planning, compliance issues, but we went full steam ahead in June 2020. So this system is nearly installed with 2 years at this stage, and it's been absolutely, I must say, fantastic for the shopping centre, both from an energy, an environmental point of view, economic point of view, and it's kind of engaged a lot of staff on site as well as everything else.
What was the key driver behind this specific piece?
We had economic benefits, but we also wanted to seek to reduce our carbon footprint. So this facility here produces approximately 160,000 kilowatt hours per annum. So there's an economic benefit in terms of what we're reducing. There's also a benefit in terms of what we're reducing our carbon footprint by approximately 75 tonnes per annum. We hope to start a second phase of these in the coming months, which will further enhance our space in this area.
What exactly is it that the solar panels power in the shopping centre?
So the solar panels are providing power to the common areas. So that's lighting, heating, cooling, everything in terms of our internal common area demand. It would exclude retailer space in the shopping mall and our external car parks, all the lighting in the car parks just as well.
And the new panels that you intend to install additionally, what will they bring?
So basically they're feeding into the same grid, the internal grid. We're not exporting anything out of this grid. This is to further enhance our internal demand, and we hope that by the summer months we'll be producing probably close to 50% of our total demand on the malls in the common areas.
How many sort of square meterage or square footage of the panels do you actually have here?
So we've actually got 952 square meters, or the equivalent of 10,000 square feet of solar panels up here on the roof. We've educated ourselves in terms of the process, and as I was alluding to earlier, we will start the second phase of these in the coming months. So we're committed to this project on the roof over here further, but we have a good handle at this stage in terms of load issues, planning issues, and interestingly, one of the more recent challenges is because we're within 15 kilometres of the airport, we have to produce a glint and glare report for the airport authority. So it's just a new challenge in terms of this process again.
Obviously a lot of energy goes into just the operation of something like this. Tell me about the kind of things that you're doing here that might be a bit different to other shopping malls in Ireland.
Okay, so firstly we're BREEAM accredited. So BREEAM is a leading assessment method for understanding and assessing how buildings are rated through their sustainability credentials. So we underwent this process back in 2015. So we were assessing both building performance and the asset management of the shopping centre. We have done 5 significant LED projects over the years, from external car parks to back of house to service corridors, then to all the main malls as we see all around us here, all the lighting in the malls around us. It is other areas, such as we sunk our own water well here a number of years ago.
Interesting.
The water that we get from the well provides all our non-potable requirements in the common areas of the mill. So that's toilets, That's public areas, that's sprinkler systems, and it's actually providing about 2/3 of our common area non-potable demand. The way we would consider it is less pressure on the public infrastructure, less pressure on the public resource, and less pressure on the external demand from Irish Water and the external entities that we depend on.
What was it that made you specifically focus on water when you were thinking about the different strategies that you could use here in the shopping centre?
So we looked basically at I suppose, the core utility areas. So we looked at electricity and we looked at gas, and now as part of this project we were looking at water. So this is why we kind of focused specifically on how we could do it. We investigated feasibility in terms of grey water from the roof and rainwater, but that proved just too complex because it would have involved or necessitated installations through existing retailer demise space, which would have proved too difficult. So then we assessed, could we look at our own groundwater well? And that's where it took off from there, and it actually proved to be very, very successful.
I'm interested to understand your point of view on the the strategies that you're doing and why it is that you're operating in this way.
We have to play our part. We have to do what we can in terms of enhancing our space, in terms of where we work, where we socialise, where we operate. And this is why we're committed to this space. So we're fortunate that the ownership fund who own the shopping centre are very vested in this space along with us. Ultimately, you need economic funds to undertake all these various projects, and they have been incredibly supportive in recent years and continue to be as we're committed to further projects in the years ahead. I suppose we particularly like, there's a Native American proverb we have down here which says, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And we very much like that simple way of looking at the world, but also protecting it for the future children in time.
So Virginia,
Hey.
it's really nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
We're here at the market outside Mahon Point Shopping Centre. I'm really interested to find out what it is that you do here.
My Goodness is a company that started about 8 years ago, and it was always our mission to try to tread gently. So one of our main products is a fermented rainwater kefir. We realized that we live in a country where we have lots of fresh water, and a lot of people see that as a problem. But we saw that as a solution to creating a sustainable product. So we gather water, we ferment it, and we put it into these bottles. The thing is, we didn't want to have a disposable product. We want to be responsible for all of the life cycle of our product. So we trade with companies who are willing to take our glass bottles on deposit, and when people are finished with the product, we take that back.
Yeah.
That's one small part of creating a closed loop system.
Okay.
We know that often with waste and waste cycles, it's a linear stream. So what we're trying to do with My Goodness and the Cork Urban Soil Project, CUSP, is to take that linear stream and turn it into a circle by taking a waste product that we view as something like trash or rubbish and seeing it instead as a resource. There is no waste in nature. Nature is perfect. It's a perfect design. All of the systems within nature are closed loop, and we need to observe that and incorporate that into our buildings, into our marketplaces, and into our business. So with the Cork Urban Soil Project, we're going to be taking all of the would-be food waste, using it as a nutrient, bringing it back to our kitchen, putting it into an aerobic biodigester that was donated to us from CIT.
Okay.
And we've been using that to create compost. We're a very urban company, and we need to find urban strategies to become more sustainable. Even within our own company, within our own menu, we try to cycle a product through our company as many times as possible.
Yeah.
So with our hibiscus kefir, we have these flowers that have been grown in Nigeria. Unfortunately, in Ireland, we can't grow the hibiscus flower here. So if we're gonna bring it all the way over from there, we're gonna ferment it first, then turn that fermented flower into another product, which we call hibiscus, and that is not waste either. So yeah, like I said, what we can grow here is we can grow cabbages, we grow root vegetables really well because we normally don't have beautiful sunny days like this.
We're very lucky here today.
Exactly. So we focused on growing root vegetables and then preparing it in a sustainable way with sauerkrauts and other fermented items. So they're more nutritious and healthy for the people around here.
How do your customers perceive what you do, and how do you get your message across?
It's definitely been an evolution because when we first started as a company 8 years ago and we brought rainwater kombucha to the market, it was hard to explain to an Irish person that this is tea, but not as you know it. It's fermented and you serve it cold and without milk. It was really hard to say, like, no, trust me, it's good. It's a sour fizzy tea. But now, after 8 years, anecdotally, a lot of people have talked about how the probiotics that we grow and provide to people have helped their lives in many ways. And it's delicious.
Yeah,
so,
I've just had some and it's
yeah,
lovely. Yeah.
And we have women in their 70s and 80s coming around asking for the kimchi. We make kimchi out of a new product that we can grow here, daikon radish. We work with local farmers to grow new kinds of vegetables to introduce into their farms that we can then use to make new food from.